Hello everybody, this is Milena from School of Data. I am the manager of the School of Data program, project of Open Knowledge Foundation, trying to teach data skills and data literacy to NGOs and journalists. I'm very happy to host a skill sharing session today with Martin from RefinePro, and he will introduce himself in a minute. But just wanted to say that that we're here in Hangout on Air. We are welcoming people to join us here. Just share the link of the Hangout on the events page, or you are also welcome to watch us on YouTube live or to watch the video afterwards. Keep an eye on the School of Data blog, and you will see more information about what happened today. So without further ado, I will pass the mic to Martin, who will start giving us an introduction to RefinePro, and he can tell us everything about what RefinePro it is. I'm sure you know about OpenRefine, and you'll know a bit more about RefinePro. Martin, over to you.
Thank you. So thanks for having me today. First, maybe a little about myself. So I started using OpenRefine in 2011, and very quickly I started to write on the blog googlerefine.blogspot.com, which, because the tool at the time was still Google Refine. Over the time, I've wrote about 100 tutorials or link to other people's tutorials and get more involved with the community. And this summer, I started RefinePro, which is hosted instance of OpenRefine. So all the same functionality as OpenRefine, but through cloud access. So you can connect to your project from multiple computers. We're working toward making it available to share project with other people, and we provide more compute power since we're not limited by the power of your local computer. So, as discussed previously with Milena, this Skillshare will be not an introduction to OpenRefine, but more an advanced level with an introduction to the GREL language, which is a general Refine expression language. And much like Excel as is expression language, Refine got its own to write function queries and have a more precise way to process your data. At any time, feel free to interrupt me with questions or comments. Don't keep them all for the end. Jump in. It will make more sense when we are on the topic to address them. And I think I will get started if I didn't forget anything.
Yeah, feel free to get started. So I will also monitor the questions on Twitter. I'll monitor the questions on the events page. And yeah, people feel free, of course, those who are already in the Hangout with us to drop their questions in chat or to voice them out. It would be lovely to have as much as possible participation. Okay, Martin, kick off.
Perfect. So this is the Refine interface. So logo is RefinePro, but today it's exactly the same functionality as OpenRefine. And the general Refine expression language, which I will call GREL from now, is a language you can access it from multiple parts of your project. So first place where you can find it is when you go on the cell, on the column, and look for custom text facets. This is the interface you have to enter the GREL language. You find also the GREL available when you want to transform a cell, or when you edit column and add a column based on this column and add a column by fetching URLs. So when you open transform windows, the expression is split up in 3 different sections. First, at the top, where you write the expression itself. So a long field for you to write any expression you want. So, for example, I want to replace all my space by pipe. Not very useful, but that's how I can write my expression. Right here, you have very quick controllers that tell you if there is a syntax error or not. So if your expression is well formed or not. So here I have no syntax error. But for example, if I remove the last parenthesis, immediately Refine tell me I'm missing a parenthesis at the offset 21. So I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and add up to 21 and say, oh, I'm missing a parenthesis. So very useful to have a brief overview is my syntax right? The second panel just below offer a preview. So here you see the value of your cell before the transformation. And here you see the value of your cell after the transformation. So here we see all the space have been replaced by a pipe. Something, this is just a preview option. So your content is not modified. You just have a glimpse of the effect of your function. So something very useful. Here you can correct immediately if what you do makes sense and if it is transforming your data the way you want. Then you have an history tab. So the history tab is very useful because it lists all the previous expression you've been using in this project or in different projects before. So if you wrote a quite complex expression or if you just too lazy to rewrite everything, you can just come here and grab the expression you want. So you click reuse.
Martin, we lost the microphone for a minute. I don't know if you're still there. Martin, so if you hear me, we can still follow your screen, but we can't hear your instructions for about, I don't know, half a minute now.
Milena?
Yes, yes, perfect. Now we can hear you.
Sorry about that. So why did you lost me?
I think you were talking about reusing some expressions.
So when you're writing an expression, you got the preview pane that gives you an idea of how your cell will be transformed by your expression. The history lists all the expression you've been using in this project, but also in different projects. So if you're lazy to just rewrite all your expression, or you wrote a very complex one and you want to reuse it, or you're not sure of the syntax, you can quickly come here and access all the previous expressions you've been writing over the last few days or months, depending on how often you use Refine. And finally, for your favorite expression and the one you want to access all the time and keep handy, Refine offers the option to star them, to place them as favorite, so you can access them very easily on the star tab, which is like your created
a list of favorite expression. And something you click reuse, and Refine will update and apply the expression immediately. The last tab is the Help tab, and it lists all the functions available through the GREL language. To be honest, it's not the easiest documentation to read. For example, if I take length, which returns the length of an array, this is the only expression you have, help you have, and that's what we're going to go through today, is showing you the main expression, how to use them, and what is the logic behind GREL. Any questions so far?
Katrina had a question in the chat, whether what is the limit of expressions remembered?
So the limit of the expression?
What is the limits of expressions remembered? So how many expressions can we start remember in the history tab?
I have no idea. It's not unlimited, but that's well. I mean, that's easily. I don't know.
Can I get some fries with the cake?
Sorry?
Oh, go ahead, go ahead. I think if there are questions, people can either speak or write them in the group chat. While we're not speaking,
okay,
to keep the mic muted.
So, other important things are regarding the expression function. When you write an expression, and this is talking about transforming data, so every expression you write with the transform, add column based on this column, or add a column by fetching URL, only the expression will only apply to the rows or records you selected through facet. So let's do a quick example. If I create a facet on my category column and only select fraction, and then let's say I want to transform the address clean field and add ABCD at the beginning. When I apply my facet, my transformation, the text transforms only on the 18 cells that match my traction category. So if I look at my address clean, I see my transformation took effect. But if I go, I don't know, to the gallery category, I see my address haven't been transformed. So facets are very useful to select and narrow down your selection of records you want to correct or transform, and then using the transform function, apply what you want to do.
Martin, just a second, I interrupt you because the sound is still a bit bad, so it breaks a bit. I wonder if people can follow. Can you guys just drop a very quick confirmation in chat whether the sound is okay, if you can follow? Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, people feel cool about it, so go ahead and sorry for the interruption.
Okay. I try to speak slower, maybe. So, getting a bit deeper in the GREL, start to look at how you write GREL expression. So quickly, I can just give some very quick example before. First, I will do my first transformation. We work on the clean data set. So as you understood, I guess, when you write a value, it just grabs a value in your current column as is. If you want to use a value from another column, this is possible by writing cells, then the name of your column dot value. So for example, here I will grab the old address value. So if we compare on the screen, for the first, my value was 61 by Clearville Drive. The other one is blank, so Refine told me I cannot retrieve a value from something blank. Second one is 21 Avios Island. The old address was Central Island via Toronto Ferry Service, and so on. So writing cells, square bracket, and then the name of the column you want with the quote, closing the square bracket, dot values, call the value from any cell. So I can, something instead of old address, I can grab the description from the description field. So this is how you call either the value within your column or value from a different column. If you want to input text directly, you just place it between. So here all my rows will be replaced by the value text because I enter some text. I can replace this with hello world, for example. So this is how you input custom text in the facet. The next step is building the expression. Start with calling the expression the content of my cell. And then Refine got two ways to build expression, two different syntax. One which is like Excel. I start to call the expression I want to use, like the replace function. So I want to replace all my, I will use the same example I used before, all my space with a pipe. So for people that knows Excel, very easy way to write your first expression. You name your function first, and then between parentheses, you place your different argument. First, where you want to do the transformation, so on the value of my column, and then the different argument of the replace, so I replace a blank by a pipe. Here I can replace my value by calling, if I want to call from another column, I can totally do that by calling the old address, for example, and it will replace all the space from the old address by a pipe. The other way of building an expression is to start with what you want to transform. So here I want to transform column in value in this column, and then write and to do exactly the same effect. Bit different from people coming from the Excel world. People coming from a developer's background will recognize more a way, the way they're currently writing their expression. With time, I will recommend to use this syntax as it makes it way more easy to read when you start to write large expression, because you can just read it from left to right, which is I take the value from this column and I replace all the blank by a pipe. So from here you can add multiple expression in one, add multiple function in one expression. For example, if we want to replace all the space so let's take another example, replace all the A by a B, and then I want to trim my content, so I want to remove all the leading and trailing space. I just the trim function at the end, and because the trim function got no argument, I just open and close a bracket. So if you use this type of ordering, this is very easy to read. Is I take my value, I replace A by B, and then I trim all my content. If you want to do it more the Excel way, it will get a little more complex and harder to read, because you will have to say, first I start to trim, and then I replace my value. I will replace A from B. So exactly the same effect. Just this one, you have to read it from inside out. So I go from my value, then I replace, then I trim. So it works. This is how Excel works. But from now on, I will just keep with the other syntax. Questions? Okay. Not in the chat.
No, so far, so I think Dele Taylor had a question on whether different function syntaxes handle nulls differently. So the question is here in the chat.
Yeah. So Refine is based on the, and the GREL expression actually is really based on the Java language. So the way, because of this, GREL will always handle it with kind of what Java called null pointer exception, which is I cannot retrieve the value and I generate an error. This is why on the bottom you can say on error I want to keep the original, set the value to blank, store the errors. So if I go back, and I say store error, so an exclamation, Refine will enable the errors directly if you select this option. So I will undo this transformation. Does it answer your question, Didi? Perfect. Another thing I didn't mention earlier, Refine is case sensitive. So cell old address will work, but if I do not capitalize O, Refine will tell me there is no syntax errors. The expression is properly formatted, but cannot find the old address column. So all my results are, it doesn't exist. So I generate an error. So be very that's like if you're debugging a GREL expression, first things you need to do is check if everything is capitalized properly. I spend hours on this, trying to figure this out, where some error were coming from. So what we've seen is to have multiple functions together, we just need to add a dot to make them work. back to my first example. So just add a dot and as much function you want. So here I trim and then I make everything to lowercase. If you want to concatenate or put values from two different cells or regular values plus the content of your cell, the magic expression you're looking for is just the plus sign. So Excel user will know the concatenate functions. Refine don't have a concatenate function. It's way more simpler. You just put a plus between expression you want to use. So for example, if I want to have my category and then my address, I will just call information from the category cell, add a plus, get information from my address clean column, and I see in the preview I've got fraction and my address, and if I scroll down, the whole fraction. If I want to add a space between them, we said to add text, you just place it between quotes. So add quote, add some text, close the quote, add another plus to do the concatenation, and add your value. And of course, from here, if you can go crazy and add as many as you want on each. So I want my value to be let imagination here to lowercase. So everything gets to lowercase. Yes, and one just share the link to the GitHub wiki for OpenRefine, where there is a page listing the different functionality with GREL. Something if you're looking to quick help, you can check the help tab, and if I look for two lowercase, I see that two lowercase just want a string and return the string and return it to the lowercase format. So this being said, I will move, and if there is no other question, I will move to a couple of different basic and very useful expression.
Yeah. Juan had a question here in chat. If you can show an example of use case of the option retransform up to n times until no change.
Yes, I can explain. I don't. It's not something I use a lot. So for people, it's this section. So Refine allow you to create some loops, and this is not like this is more advanced, so it won't be part of this introduction to GREL. If you check the help and scroll down until the end, you can go for each or for each index and so on. So you have a way to create loops in your expression. So retransform up to n time until no change is to make sure that Refine go through the loop as much as needed. Personally, it's not a function I use a lot, and 99% of the time I just keep the lower part of the expression to its default, which is keep original and don't try to retransform. Okay, so a couple of expressions I want to say is the replace function, which seen very briefly, how to compare string, how to split, and if we got time, getting into the how to build if condition using GREL. So first, the replace function. And first things is maybe not using GREL, but really keeping what Refine is good at. If you want to replace one full name by another, the fastest way and the easiest way is still to go through any facet and click the edit button. So for example, here I want to edit all those and remove the blank space and by enter. So this is the easiest way to do transformation and the full content in a column. So the replace function, and I will look into the parent page 1 column, and here we see we have a lot of commercial and sign. And for some reason, we don't want to have the commercial, we want to have the full and word in our cell. So we'll just call the transform and say, I want to replace all my the full string A and D. And in my preview, I can see the first one is null, so it generates an error. Cannot replace anything from something that doesn't exist. Second one is see and do, and here we see our expression works properly. And if you go down, if you reach line number 5, expression is parse. Refine cannot find the and commercial end sign, so you do nothing, and so on. It just go and replace the string everywhere, so click. Okay. So I've done transformation on 51 cells in the column, parent page 1, with this expression. And if I check my facet, I see that all the corrections have been made, and all the cells that did not contain the character we were looking for are just been left as it is. Just giving you a very quick other example, if I go until sorry, the postal code. So here we have only one postal code, it has a blank sign. So my advice here will be, if you just want to edit this one, just go here, remove the blank, and apply it. But if you want to go through the GREL, so we'll undo, you can, same thing, value, replace a blank by nothing. So I've got nothing errors for most of the column because it's a blank, but if I apply and I'll change, my postal code is clean. So the expression is value.replace, and then I select, thank you, refine. The expression is value.replace, and then if you want to replace by nothing, you just open and close your quotes right away, and it will replace by nothing. So it will basically delete what you want. It will basically delete anything that is in this part of the function. So here we're replacing blank, but this way you can replace specific words, numbers, or content from another cell if you call content from another cell. And that's what we will do now, for example, in my clean address. I can see that sometimes the old address repeat, the clean address repeat in the old address. So still using the replace function, I can say in my clean address, in my, sorry, wrong column, in my old address, everything that exists in my column address clean, I call my column address clean using this expression, and I want to replace anything, and I want to delete everything, so I just open and close. And here we see that the address 301 Front Street West be deleted from the old address. So refine take information from the column you call, check if the string exists in the column where you apply the transformation, and in this case replace it by nothing, so deleted it. So as you can see, you can build quite complex expression and check between different columns very easily. So that's all for the replace function. Any question?
As far as I can see, there's nothing in chat or in the events page. So yeah, unless people want to say something, to say whether again they are following or not, I think it's pretty clear, Martin. Thank you so much for this.
Okay. So next thing is comparing string. So, and for this example, I will be comparing string are more useful when you create them in custom facet. So first, I will undo all the transformation I've done on this project, and we just see before that old address and address clean are sometimes the same. My question is like sometimes are they exactly the same. So in this case, I will call some text facet, and because I'm lazy, I will reuse this expression, but instead of replace, my question is my value from the old address is sometimes the same as the one in the clean address? And here, to compare two strings, you just entered not one but two equal signs, and this is due because GREL is based on the Java language, and I'm not. Well, I will not dive into the reason, but you see that the result of this expression is it equal, and the result is a Boolean, so for false or true. So the custom facet, when I created it, it created a new facet, a true-false facet. If I click on true, very quickly I see that, oh, my record 11, 17, 19, 21 are exactly the same content. So compare two column is equal thing, but maybe you're not interested to see if it's exactly equal. What you want to know is maybe does it contains, just like we've seen before, the address clean was just the beginning of the old address. So maybe you want to know if my value contains the content from the other column. So edit, and here see my true is way higher. It's 111. And here see that because it contains if you want front street is only part of the old address, in this case we have a match, and we can narrow down and see the 111 that keep part of the old address in the clean address, and the 28 that somehow change completely address or change the format of the address. Another way of doing it is if I go on the website and, for example, I want to know which websites are part of the Canadian domain name, so r.ca. I can create a custom text facet, and that's my value contains, and because that's a string now, I'm searching contain.ca. I click OK, and something return true false. So 71 false, which is a .net.com, and 99 true, and all those end with .ca. So content is one way to compare. Another way is maybe you want not to know if the string contains a particular, but only start with or end with a specific string. So dataset is from Toronto. Toronto has two different prefix for phone numbers, 416 and 647. So maybe I just want to know which one starts with the prefix 416. And it starts with. I click OK. I say, oh, 7 of them don't start with 416. This one is 647. This one looks like we have a training space. This one is 905, which is just outside Toronto. This one has parentheses opening, so very easily we start with assumption that they all should start with 416, and I already found two outliners, one with a parenthesis and one with an extra space. So I know right away that I can start to use a replace function to remove the parentheses, start to use a replace function to remove, or trim function to remove the trailing space. You can use the start with, you can use the same expression with end with, and in this case we will say give me also ones that end with a 0. Not very useful as information, just to present the function. And here we know there is 29 of them that actually ends with a 0. Any questions so far? Nope. So
So I don't know, again, if people want to ask any questions or any clarifications or anything that was on your mind, you always wanted to know about Refine, and you have now the chance to know it. We have 15 more minutes, Martin, just to say that, I don't know, maybe to start wrapping up, or again to give people time for questions. But if there are no questions, go ahead. We'd love to hear as much as possible from you.
So I will just keep one item on the agenda, which is a split function, which is one of the most useful to understand to work within complex string. But if there is any question first, maybe it's better to clear them now.
It would be really nice to hear the voice of people that are here with us in the Hangout. If you have questions, of course, you can drop them in the chat, but also feel free to unmute yourself and let us know what's in your mind.
Okay. So
let's just continue.
Split function. So the split function. Sometimes you just want a specific subpart of the content of a column. And for example, here I'm just interested to the domain name in a separate field, or I'm just interested by the extension name. So the first thing Refine offer is split into several columns. For example, here if I come and say to Refine split based on the dot, it will create columns to match, but it works. Does a job, but not very precise. Like you just created 4 new fields, and your original content has been split up away, so not very efficient. I can use this word. That's why when I go in and start, I will add a column based on this column, and I say, let's say I just want to grab the first, so the website name, which is the first section before the dot. So I take my value, I split it, and split expect 1 characters. So I say now you split my value on every dot you find. So toronto.baps.org has been split into 3 segments. Toronto, BAPS, org. CenterIsland.ca has been split into Center Island and CA. And when you create the split, Refine create an array with multiple elements. So the first array has 3 elements, second one has 2, third one has 2, CNTower.ca has 2 elements, CNTower and CA. So now what you need to tell Refine is which element you want to select in this array. To do this, you use 2 square brackets, and you indicate the number of the element you want to select. So I want the first one. Oops, did not work. I got the second one. Why? Because once again, GREL is based on the Java language, and if there is more advanced Java users, they might be able to tell you why. But for Java, everything starts at 0. So if you want the first element, you have to write 0 to select the first element of your string. So I will create a column and call it the name, and here Refine will create a new column after call the name with a typo with the content I selected. So when you use this split function, you can go from both ways. So here split on each dot, and I took the first one. So if I want to take the second one, I click, I enter 1. And if I want to get the third one, I enter 2. And for all those that have 2 dots, so I have 3 segments or 3 elements in the array, it selects the third one. Here you realize, actually, most of them I got array index out of the exception. And basically, it's because you told Refine select the third one, but my array got only 2 elements. So ask me to select something that doesn't exist, generate an error. So not very useful if I want to get extension name, for example, only the .org or .ca, because depending on how the website is built, the content is either the second or the third element. This is not a problem because Refine allows you to go backward in the string. So if I in the array, so if you select 0, you got the first element. Select 1, you got the second element. Select 2, you got the third element. But if you want the last element, you just tell Refine to go with -1. And from here, Refine will just go by the hand and select the last element. If I enter -2, it will go from the hand and select the second before last element, and so on. So here, if I split by -1, so I just deleted all the content on my website. Now, I create a set, I only have whatever was at the end of after the last dot.
So yeah, there's a question for Helge. You see, how would you do that for just the last 2 elements?
Last 2 elements. Yes. So roll back. I will just use a concatenate function. I take the last, so the 2, and I want to add this element. I want to keep the dot with my last element. So if I add some, so here you can add as many space you want to make it more easy to read for you. But here I tell Refine, split my value into multiple arrays based on the dot. Select the one before the last, add a dot, and resplit my array and select the one from the last. And that's my expression together, so I got my last 2 elements. Does it answer your question?
That's really, really cool. So I was really happy I know Refine, and I knew the split function, but the transformation, but now it seems like you can do so much more with GREL. So we have just 5 minutes left. Unless there are other questions, Martin, I was wondering if you can talk a bit more about documentation. So that was quite a big question before. You yourself said that the help on GREL is not fantastic, and people here in the chat shared some GitHub documentation. Do you have anything else that you would advise people to use if they want to know more about how to really take advantage of this powerful function?
So the first place to check is the wiki, and Juan posted a link to one specific page on the wiki, but here's really the entry point. If on the wiki, and I can share the link if I find it quickly. We also have a page that lists all the other tutorials that have been written with Refine and different websites, including the School of Data website. So on the wiki, we have a page that lists all those different resources. And of course, if you want more direct help, feel free to send an email to the Refine main mailing list. There is a couple of people, including myself, Tom, Tad, that are part of the OpenRefine team that will provide support and answer your question and help you as much as we can. So if I go on the Institute. So if you click on the documentation section, here you have the list of created lists. And you have access to this.
Excellent, and obviously these resources can always be improved, and I think we as well in School of Data should provide a bit more documentation on this, but it's of course already a good start on the website. And maybe Martin, just one last thing, because you mentioned RefinePro, and I think at the beginning some people were here, but not everybody. Do you want to say a couple of words of what's the difference between OpenRefine and RefinePro, and when would people need or you think would be useful to use RefinePro?
So RefinePro is so we're part of the OpenRefine community, and what we do is we take OpenRefine and make it available as a cloud service, so you don't have to maintain or install it on your local machine. You can access it from multiple devices. You can benefit from more compute power from our dedicated cloud. And what we're working on is also the ability of sharing your project with other people. So philosophy behind RefinePro is really to be part of the OpenRefine community, have developers on our side that will also contribute back to the OpenRefine code, and really develop and offer more support and services around Refine in general. And so we're currently in private beta, and if you check our website, you can sign up with something on a weekly basis.
That is truly amazing, and I'm very happy there is a cloud version as well on Refine. Obviously, it's been hard for us sometimes in trainings to get everybody to install the latest versions and to unzip and make sure that everybody is up to speed quite quickly. So I think for trainers in particular, having a cloud collaborative version is really exciting. So just 2 more minutes to go. Last time to ask that question that was always on your mind about Refine before we close with Martin. Anybody else? Then please join me in thanking Martin. It was a really good one. It was really great that we went beyond the basics. I think this kind of tutorials and Skillshares tend to be a bit basic at the beginning because we never know how the audience will be. But it was really great to hear something different. I think all of us learned quite a lot today. And Martin, thank you so much for taking the time. We will try to follow up with the blog post. Where we will add all the links and the videos. So if you missed something, you can see the recording again. Any last word, Martin?
No, thanks for having me, and If you have questions, you can reach out to me, send an email to the mailing list. We'll be happy to help.
Excellent. All right, recording over. Thank you.